Primitive Skateboards was started by pro skater P-Rod after leaving Plan B. He began by selling a limited run of 500 gold foil primitive decks. And because people liked them, he decided to start Primitive Skateboards with the help from Andy Netkin, who P-Rod met when he was 14, and who was the manager of a local skate shop called 118. And Jubal Jones, who I can't find much info on outside of him being the creative director of Primitive. That's pretty much the backstory. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of every skate part or every person they sponsor. I just wanted to give some context on how it started before getting into the designs. I'm going to start out of the gate by saying I've pretty much always hated Primitive's designs. Gifted Hater points out how they literally just copy Fashion Nova.
And Mikey Taylor tells you, Paul, in business, it's about mimicking what works. Why don't you just copy Fashion Nova? And Paul says, copy Fashion Nova? Skaters are a community of anti-establishment, trend-subverting punks. They would never fall victim to mainstream garbage. No, Paul. Skater are fucking stupid. As long as you write skateboarding on a product, they'll buy it. That will never work. Oh, poggers, it worked! And from that moment, a beautiful, flawless business strategy is born. These are all Primitive collabs, and I didn't even plan this. I made this slide, and then I looked up each one of these fucking collabs on the Fashion Nova website, and Fashion Nova's done all of these already.
They fall into the category of bad design but popular IP. Basically what Hot Topic has been doing for ages. You pick a popular IP like Dragon Ball Z, Google a PNG of it, and throw it on a t-shirt with maybe some added text in Photoshop. The only difference between Primitive and Fashion Nova or Hot Topic is that their shirts have Dragon Ball Z with the Primitive logo on it. They truly are innovators of the copy and paste a PNG strat. Let's start off with some of their normal designs. Then I'll move on to the collab pieces, then their skate decks, and end it off by showing stuff I like, if I find any. Let's start off with the, wow guys, I threw a skeleton on a crew neck. This follows the golden rule of showing people the exact amount of space you have to print with, and filling all of it. I know you might be saying to yourself, dude, they have flames and a skull. That's so freaking tough. But remember, you're not 14 anymore, and if that phase hasn't ended for you yet, I sure hope it ends now. Another thing I dislike from Primitive is the pocket print garbage they pump out on a daily basis. I used to like pocket prints when I was little, but now they don't make much sense to me. Usually pocket prints are a copy and paste job with the back graphic being the exact same as what's on the pocket. Even if that's not the case, I just don't like the fact that if you wear a zip-up jacket of any kind, you can't tell your shirt has any design on it because the jacket covers your pocket. Therefore, if it's cold, you might as well just wear a plain tee. Anyways, back to Primitive pocket prints. They consistently just make a different looking P and throw it on the front and back of shirts or hoodies. Here are a bunch of examples. 1. Skeleton P. 2. Camo P. 3. Shirt P. There are a lot of these. 4. Dragon Ball P. 5. I like flowers P. 6. Nature something P. 7. 6. 7. I like flowers again P. I know I've seen them do this more, but I just want to move on. I feel hypocritical because I like Supreme, but their box logo just goes harder than the pocket print, especially when you're not even printing on a shirt that has a pocket. Speaking of Supreme, I misread the Sublime X Primitive shirt as Supreme, and it's either because Supreme is always on my mind, or because I'm dyslexic, or it just actually looks like Supreme. Plus, this shirt hits you with the double pocket print. They really are pushing a new wave of pocket prints for the masses. Primitive is trying to be a cool brand, but they just aren't. I don't think anyone really cares if your shirt says Primitive, but they still slap it on every product they make. Whether it's an edgy font or a sparkly print or cursive, there just isn't anything interesting about what they're doing with their box logos, let alone the designs on the back of their shirts. The main problem is that the name Primitive doesn't make people think about skateboarding. It makes people think about anime or bands, and because of that, no one cares if your shirt says Primitive. The name itself is more of a placeholder or space filler for something people actually care about, like their collabs. This is why Supreme can just say Supreme and Primitive can't just say Primitive. While scrolling, I found a hoodie that just looks like a compass and retro globe clip art with a Primitive logo slapped on it. It's just so incredibly lazy that I wanted to point it out. Speaking of lazy, here's a bunch of shirts that just feel like PNG plus text. And it gets worse with their collabs. Here are some examples. Sublime logo PNG, Elf's screenshots thrown onto hoodies and shirts, Tupac pictures, Biggie Smalls pictures, because I too shop at Hot Topic and love when you throw random images on shirts, the only difference being a little Primitive logo on it. We got Rick and Morty, we got screenshots from Dragon Ball Z with some added Japanese text, or other little designs around it. We got Naruto with the same design motif. I mean, look at this crew neck. They love doing the bare minimum so much that they just took the same exact image from their skate deck and threw it onto a shirt. Hence why it's a rectangle. While a lot of their shirts do have decks with the same design, this one just stood out to me because of how it's cropped. Some of these may not even be screenshots or pictures from Google, but you can't blame me for thinking they are, because all the designs just look like someone slapped an image they found onto a product. The point being, I think Primitive is made by someone who just discovered Photoshop layers, especially with their collaborations, because once they've gotten an IP like Naruto, the product has practically sold itself, no matter how bad the design is. This point has been proven time and time again, and it's the reason why so many brands use the method of popular IP over good design. You might think it'd make more sense to actually design something cool with a popular IP, but that means fewer products because it takes more time and costs more to design. So everyone, including Primitive, opts into being the fashion equivalent of a stock image instead. I thought they'd done some actual drawings for a collab before, but then I reverse image searched one of them, this Itachi shirt, and found out it's just the back cover of one of the manga releases. So I don't even know if they've ever put effort into designing a product outside of the P logos. Some of those seem to have effort put into them, or at least seem custom. To cover their decks for a moment, it's basically the same philosophy as their shirts. Some of the designs I like this Sailor Moon deck. Even though I'm not a fan of my decks shining, I still think it looks cool, even if it's just a PNG from the show. I don't really know the general consensus of how people view Primitive decks. I just know I hated the Dragon Ball one I got and ended up switching back to the one I was skating prior, because I disliked it so much. Skate deck design is super weird, because most major brands like Baker mainly just make decks with their names on them. So when there are artsy decks like DGK, I instantly assume they're bad, hence why I've never skated one of their boards. Or they just look like design vomit like Rip and Dip. It's hard for me to even describe decks I like, because some just look good to me, and others look bad. Like they're just trying too hard or doing too much. Right now I'm skating a Blondie deck from Black Sheep Skate Shop that isn't just a logo deck, and I love the way it looks, but something like this all-over print from DGK I think looks ugly. To some of my thoughts on their skate decks, they're thrown together design-wise just like most decks are. As for quality, I don't know much about it. I just never really liked them. I know I said in the beginning I'd try to find something I liked about Primitive, but there really isn't anything. I'm trying not to be a complete hater, but I just don't like their designs. The closest thing I could find to liking something is this Akatsuki jacket. I think it's a good example of mixing anime with clothes without screaming, "Hey, this is Naruto!" It's more of a you know kind of thing, and can just pass as a cool jacket. Outside of that, the best thing I can say is that some of their decks look cool, but I'd never skate them again after my initial bad experience. Granted, I don't skate that much anymore anyways. The only reason their decks look good is because skate decks kind of feed off of low effort design. So when they throw those same designs on clothes, they end up looking like crap, or overly average. Basically, in Primitive's design you can tell nobody cares, not even the person who uploaded it to the site. All they do is feed off of collaborations because without them they'd be dead in the water. They don't have any rhyme or reason to their collabs because Naruto, Elf, and Tupac have nothing in common, outside of being popular. Their brand image isn't edgy, isn't cutesy, isn't anime, isn't Japanese, isn't rap, isn't rock, isn't movies, isn't cartoons, isn't alcohol, and isn't skateboarding. They just happen to have a team and sponsor people and sell them. Primitive is a name with no face. They grift to every trend they think is popular. Primitive tried to be everything and ended up being nothing. If you ask a random person what is Primitive, most people either won't know who they are, or if they do, I'd be shocked to hear them say it's a skateboarding company. Because at this point, they're just a clothing brand with no theme that just happens to sell skateboards. Like the video if you like the video. I'll try to make more fashion content in the future, but I just leave a comment if there is anything I'm missing when it comes to Primitive, because they could have made something cool in the past, but given the fact that they do so many like huge drops, makes me think that there's definitely no consistency when it comes to like their designs being good. Because if you drop like 70 pieces in one drop, there's no way you're putting effort into any of them, because there's just such a sheer volume of stuff. But yeah, toodles.